falls below 60% capacity will be classified as chronically under-enrolled. The Joint Operating Committee may elect to close or reduce the program to half-time or reduce staff in case of the two-teacher program under the recommendation of the Executive Director. So the action plan, summary of an action plan, the landscape technology and plant technology at Upper Bucks County Technical School has a long history of being under-enrolled for more than 10 years. According to Policy 118, the landscape technology program's 5-year average enrollment is 42.9% as considered chronically under-enrolled. The current enrollment for this year is 34%. So timelines that the instructor was notified goes all the way back to May 30th of 2008. A program status letter was sent out stating the program enrollment was 58%. Programs who fall below 50% will go to part-time status the following year. June 3rd of 2009, a program status letter was sent out stating the program enrollment was 52.2%. Programs who fall below 50% will go to part-time status the following year. In 2001, or October 1st, 2012, the horticulture program was once again classified as under-enrolled. A root cause analysis was initiated. June 11th of 2014, a letter was sent stating the enrollment fell below 50% capacity. If the program falls below or falls before 50% the following year, the executive director may seek JOC approval to reduce the program and employment to half-time. June 28th of 2016, a letter was sent of the 5-year chronically under-enrolled possibility of curtailment of the program. June 22nd of 2017, another letter was sent stating the program fell below 50% capacity for 2 consecutive years. The program was reduced to half-time status at the June 15, 2017 JOC meeting. The instructor went to half-time status as a result. June 25th of 2018, a letter was sent notifying the possibility of program closure at the end of the 2018-19 school year. And February 7th of 2019, follow-up letter sent to the instructor regarding the intent to close the program. The action plan for the plumbing program follows the same guidelines. The plumbing program at the Upper Bucks County Technical School is in its 5th year of being labeled as chronically under-enrolled. According to Policy 118, the plumbing technology program's 5-year average enrollment is 56.4% and is considered chronically under-enrolled. So the timeline, the conclusion of the 13-14 school year, the instructor was given an informal notification of low enrollment. March 31st of 2015, a root cause analysis was initiated. June 28th of 2016, a letter was sent regarding the 5-year chronically under-enrolled data and a possibility of curtailing the program. June 22nd of 2017, a letter was sent indicating that enrollment improvement but still fell under the threshold of chronically under-enrolled program policy. June 25th of 2018, a letter was sent notifying the possibility of program closure at the end of the 18-19 school year. And February 7th of 2019, a follow-up letter sent to the instructor regarding the intent to close the program. March 14, 2019, students are notified of potential program closure. What happens to the current students? Landscaping students, as of this year, as of June 17th, 4 new students enrolled for the 2019-20 school year. 3 of these students picked landscaping as their first choice, but will be placed in their subsequent choices. One of these 3 may not attend per sending school administration. The 14 returning students, 2 students are transferring into other programs. 2 are going to be working at co-op. 5 of the students requested to remain at the sending schools. 2 students could not be reached, and the remaining 3 students are undecided. For the plumbing students, we had 7 new students that signed up for the 2019-20 school year. 5 of these students picked plumbing as their first choice. These students will be placed in their subsequent choices. 2 of the students are transfers from other programs. The transfers from other programs, 2 of those students failed the other programs, so they decided to sign up and go into the plumbing program. 18 are returning students. 3 students are transferring into other programs. 2 are scheduled for co-op, 1 student requested to stay at the setting district, 3 students could not be reached, and the remaining 9 are transferring into new programs. My recommendation, in order to fulfill Board Policy 118, the administrative, Upper Bucks County Technical School Executive Director, and the superintendents from the setting schools, recommendation to the JOC is to close the landscaping and plumbing programs effective at the end of the 18-19 school year. Board Policy 118, the purpose of this policy is to ensure programs offered at the Upper Bucks County Technical School meet the needs of business and industry and maintain fiscal responsibility in their operations. Enrollment figures for each career and technical program shall be reviewed by the school administrator on a continuous basis. Thank you.
There were 2 motions added to the agenda, or 2 items added to the agenda. They were there 2 were there this morning, the hiring of a new diesel technology instructor and the hire of a agricultural and biotechnology science instructor. This afternoon they were added and they are on. Oh, they're on the computer? Okay, they're in the attachment E. There is also the director's goals for 2018-19. The JOC acknowledges the 100% successful completion of the executive director's goals for the 2018-2019 according to the executive director's amended contract. And then there's also item number 2 is an agreement for interim business services. Motion to authorize the executive director to negotiate interim business office services with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit number 22 pending review from the solicitor. So I wanted to make those announcements prior to opening it up for public comments, and you could comment on those 2 additions to the agenda. Then we can move into public comment. Just state your name, municipality, or your connection to the school. And I have list, and then I'll go through the list, and then if anybody else would like to comment, feel free. Yes, Mr. Linden.
I'd like to make public comment.
Yes, sir.
Robert Linden, Pennridge School District. Last night I downloaded the agenda from the internet and prepared for tonight's meeting, only to find that you've changed the agenda. And since the agenda is an official document, I think that the document should reflect that it's been changed from previous issue. It should have a revision or a date, something indicating it's new and current. Secondly, the thing I wanted to talk about was item 22 on the old agenda, which is item 23 on the new agenda. It's the custodial RFP. On the old agenda, you had chosen AR Mark as your selection, and I see you've changed that and moved it to blanks. I don't know what your choice is. I reviewed the last meeting, the minutes of the May 16th meeting, and I reviewed the May 16th meeting on video, which I took, and the minutes do not agree. At the meeting, you tabled the item on RFP for committee review. That's not what the minutes stated. There was no committee review, as far as I can tell, unless you've done that secretly without announcing it. So I'm asking, did you review the RFPs?
We were going to review it during this meeting.
Well, your minutes are in error. I think your minutes are an official document and they should be revised to show what you've changed, or what was wrong at least. They should show what actually happened in the meeting. I think you're sloppy in your paperwork. That's my comment.
I'll just start down the list. Michael Kennedy?
Yes. My name's Michael Kennedy, and I taught here for 33 years. I've been retired for a couple of years, and I'm still on the OAC for carpentry, and I teach part-time carpentry at the Associated Builders Contractors Training Center. Tonight I'm here to oppose the closing of the Landscape Construction and Plant Technology program. My reasons for this are as follows. The administration, when I talk about most of this that was done by the administration, it was the previous administration. I understand that Mr. Suida, this is his first year here, and so this may be new. I know the last time I addressed this board about this situation, many of these faces weren't here on the board. The administration has done several things deliberately, systematically to sabotage and kill the landscape construction program. Number one, they removed Mr. Kunkel from the classroom from October 17th, 2015 until September 1st, 2018 for no justifiable cause. I suspect this was done in hopes of Mr. Kunkel quitting and making their goal of closing the program easier to achieve. How is a teacher supposed to build enrollment if he is put in a closet, literally, for 3 years? I'm sure Mr. Kunkel can give you the details of this injustice. It makes me think of the saying, no good deed goes unpunished. Secondly, and I just got some information from Mr. Suida's presentation that I wasn't aware of. He said that Mr. Kunkel was informed in 2008 about his program being under-enrolled. The root cause analysis, policy 118, outlines procedures that the administration, student services, and the teacher are supposed to follow in order to rebuild programs that are under-enrolled. The root cause analysis should have been initiated in 2008 because the policy states if the enrollment is less than 65%, that you follow the policy of the root cause analysis. This was not done. The root cause analysis was subsequently visited in October of 2012 as outlined in JOC policy, approved policy 118, and then failed to follow the same policy. This is a plan for under-enrolled programs where the instructors, student services, and administration are all given responsibilities and tasks that they're to complete to hopefully build enrollment in the program that's under-enrolled. The administration never did the tasks they agreed to do in the action plan put together by the three entities. Also, and I quote, and Mr. Suida mentioned this, the policy 118 says, this intervention plan will be reviewed and revised annually until the program enrollment meets or exceeds 65% for 2 consecutive years as measured by average daily enrollment. Mr. Kunkel's program was not, they did not revisit the root cause analysis for over 4 years. It's supposed to be done annually. So not only was he stuck in a closet, unable to build his program, but the board or the administration was not following their own policy of revisiting and revising that root cause analysis, giving him the opportunity to rebuild. The administration had a responsibility to give full support to build the program back up. Instead, they introduced a new program which would utilize the landscape facility. Another thing they did was they called current students over to the main office and tried to persuade them into enrolling in a new program. The administration was invited to come over to see projects in the program area that were being done by the students that they were very proud of. The administration never came over while the students were there or even answered the emails from Mr. Kunkel. After students harvested and packaged lettuce for each JOC member, the cooler of lettuce was under a table and no mention was made of this publicly. After donating 50 pounds of lettuce to Pennridge School District, Pennridge School District posted news of this on its own website. Pennridge board member suggested that Upper Bucks do the same on its website. This was not done until Mr. Kunkel insisted that it be done. Another problem. The program budget was charged for heating their program area. No other program in the school was ever asked to pay for its heat in history that I'm aware of. This burden to the budget limited what learning with hands-on projects could be done in the program area. Another thing, the administration told sending districts, guidance departments, 2 years before it was being considered by the JOC that the cabinet making program was to be eliminated. It's something that was done to sabotage the cabinet making program. We don't have a supervisor of student services here to answer my question, but I would like to know if this was done also ahead of time to the homeschool sending district guidance departments where they told them that the program was closing before it was being closed, which would limit how many students would desire to come into the program. The program also has the highest percentage of special needs students. Over the years, the program has been successful at placing these students in jobs. Consider the fact that by eliminating the program, you are discriminating against this segment of the student population. Special needs students can't always succeed in every program in their school. But some programs, they can be very successful, like landscape. One thing about plumbing, for the first 25 years I taught here, and it was done years before I began here, the plumbing and HVAC program were a combined program run in the same area by the same teacher. This ceased to happen because the teacher didn't have the certification to be teaching HVAC, even though he was knowledgeable in it, and he decided to retire rather than get the certification. I realize that HVAC is an important trade. It should be part of the school curriculum. But my question is, what effort has been made to find a teacher in the program that is certified in both areas that could keep both plumbing and HVAC alive? And by doing that, you could probably have a full enrollment program. Thanks for listening, and thank you to all board members for all you do for public education. I realize you're your job is thankless, that there's always going to be somebody that's pissed off at you, no matter what decisions you make. But I hope you will consider what I've said and give Mr. Kunkel the opportunity to build and rebuild his program properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Penny.
Person.
I have nothing to say.
There's not a lot of need for
He
them.
signed up in case I went over my
Certified
That one was very popular.
Yes, but they don't have certified
Thank you.
plumbing instructor,
Yes.
HVAC plumbing instructor.
My name is Bob Weller, Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I wanted to come before you. I represent Interstate Building Maintenance. I'm the owner of the company. We started the company a little over 30 years ago. So actually our 31st year. And service well over 10 million square feet of schools throughout this Tri-County area. We've worked with them for many, many years, understand the importance of cleanliness, what an apple of a two should be. And we wanted to take the time today to introduce myself in front of the board. We had submitted some numbers, and I understand that we offered significant savings. And I wanted to reassure everybody that our numbers are correct. As the owner of the company, I stand behind it. We work with
Just had a plumber work at my place. I was billed $110 an hour.
Zero turnover with staffing. And the productivity rates that we put in there are absolutely very, very achievable.
I never had
We
any
can
of
save
that
you a
done,
significant chunk of change, probably $150,000 over a 5-year period of time, and still improve upon where the cleanliness is. I think that there's significant opportunity to improve upon the cleanliness, and with the right productivity schedules that we have, that's what we do. We're very strict about writing the accountability schedule. And I'm here today, and I know you have a full agenda, but I thought it was important enough that the owner of the company is here, to be able to answer any questions and give you my commitment for being able to do this for many, many years. We've been very successful at all the school districts that we work in, and we employ close to 2,000 employees. So we're not a small company, we're not really a large company, and we're certainly not a publicly traded company. So in our situation, we're able to provide that additional value that some of the other groups are not that are in a publicly traded company. We'll work at very small margins, and I will be here if I can answer any questions for you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here.
Ryan Moser. Can you hear me? I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody's
it's
doing
good. It's good.
Tonight, good.
Okay.
Me and the cameraman have trouble here.
Okay.
Do you have that mic up there?
I think it's up to the post.
It's up here.
Okay, very quickly, I would argue the numbers for the plumbing class for this year, right now, it's currently under-enrolled at the end of the year. If you include the adults for the yearly average, like the policy states, I would argue that the numbers for this year were above the 65%. So hopefully you look into that, or you already did look into that, but if you count adults, which we've always counted adults forever in the school, I don't know why those numbers are looking different than I just checked with the instructor a couple days ago, and we did the yearly average. So, also just to reiterate, the root cause analysis was not done for the landscaping program for the last few years. They kind of did a little bit last year, but not, there was many years it was missed, and that's the administration's job to make sure that's done. And it's very tough for these classes when the rumor was out there a long time ago that the classes would be shut down. There was so much misinformation back and forth, or no information, and what was really happening. It's hard for you to build a program and get people to sign up for it when they think it's not going to be there. Lastly, If you do decide to close the plumbing program, as I said to you several months ago, the key is finding a duly certified instructor. If that happens, the plumbing students can be serviced as well as the HVAC students. But the question is, the advertisement I saw was for an HVAC instructor who would possibly apply for the plumbing instructor position. And if they don't pass the testing, if they don't have that certification right away, they can go for 1 year with an emergency cert. After that, if they don't pass, we just hired a teacher, and they can't do plumbing after that year, unless they get the permanent, start on their permanent certification for it. So they have to pass a national exam for that. So unless you hire somebody who absolutely has both certifications, you can't say that this is going to continue on where we're going to have both programs, plumbing and HVAC. And it's being able to find a dynamic instructor who not only can teach two different trades, but teach them at the same time. It's a very difficult task. Plus, with what they're making out there, as I told you before, one of my students working for Michael Mechanical, which does HVAC and plumbing, is starting at $90,000 his first year. And that's more than I make. And trying to get somebody in who's knowledgeable about HVAC and plumbing for what you're going to pay is really tough to get someone who's dual certified. So hopefully you can find somebody who has both certifications, but you're taking that risk if you just hire someone with the HVAC certification and not the plumbing certification, that program might not be here. And that scares me because I was told by the administration of the board several years ago that cabinet making was going to be combined with carpentry, and cabinet making kids would have an opportunity, and that is not the case. And I would hate to see plumbers not have that opportunity. So if you do end the plumbing program, please make sure you find somebody who is completely dual certified. Thank you.
Excellent. And that is our intent. Absolutely 100% our intent. Nancy Overton?
Hi folks, I have kind of a mixed bag of comments from the things on the agenda. One item on the expenses, I can't remember which one it was, but there was a line for a weekend theater for Animal Tech, and I would hope that that weekend theater would be full year, not half year. You may not be aware that the weekend theater was reduced to half year and was not paid after farm show. And if you're going to have two programs that are going to have animals in it, I don't think it's fair to ask the instructor to come up every day on Saturday and Sunday to feed the animals unpaid on the weekends. Another item was the sub rates, which is getting looked upon. You may not know that, or you may know that we had an extended absence for our welding teacher, and we needed to have a certified welder in that program for the students to work in the shop. And there may have been 45 days when the students could not work in the shop because they could not find a substitute in that shop that was certified in welding. They ended up getting two fabulous people, but that didn't happen until mid-year. So I think that we don't pay our certified subs enough money to attract people to come in. It's very different than getting a sub at the sending districts. We need folks that know the trades. Another thing, the retirement of Gail Capuano. I find this to be not a coincidence and very upsetting to all of us that work here. This school just cannot function without a business office going 100%. I mean, the expenses at the school and the things that happen at the school that require a top-notch business manager. She may have retired quietly, but I'm very concerned about that, and I would hope, Dr. Harner, as you promised Mrs. Hill, an exit interview with the three superintendents, that you would ask her to an exit interview with the three superintendents to find out why she's so suddenly retired. Along with that, I feel like this is like a time of turmoil in our school, and it's not the right time to make big changes. I think we need to steady the ship here. We have new administration, and we're introducing two new programs on kind of shaky grounds with a lot of stuff going on, and we need to look at the timing of this. In addition, the diesel instructor that was going to be approved upon, I would ask you how many applicants applied for that job? How many applicants? Does this applicant have classroom experience? Does this applicant have special ed experience? The history in this school is teacher either stay decades or leave right away. That shop is going to be fully enrolled, and we need to have a really qualified person in there. I know we're approaching contract negotiations, and people think that maybe we're paid too much here, but if we have one application for a job like a diesel instructor, that is what the school is made of, is our teachers, and that needs to be looked at. The new hire for the agriculture and bioscience, is that going to be a full or half-time, and what are the enrollment numbers for that program? And I think that's it. I have some other comments later. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to take a brief pause for public comment to recognize.
So we'd like to recognize a law enforcement student.
Earlier this week, we had a special presentation from Ted Rice, who's a community member that works very closely in the community, recognizing the work that happens at our school on a daily basis. He came and presented a student, and I'll give Mr. Ritter the honor of giving the backstory. But we're very proud of all of our students. Mr. Ritter, would you like to give the backstory, please?
Thanks a lot. Actually, I'm going to pass the buck too. Actually, Juliana is a freshman from Pennridge School District. Just like all my cadets, they get multiple certifications, and one of the certifications that she received in the program, spent quite some time with CPR and first aid, actually helped her perform successfully. And I think that I'm going to let her, if she wants to share anything with it, but I'm really proud of not only Juliana, but all my cadets and everything that they accomplished. And it speaks volumes for you and the type of person you are and your character. Thank you. You say it. They're all used to it.
So I was certified in CPR, which helped me the one day, and at home, which I unfortunately walked in on something and saved my sister's life. Mr. Ritter, during the certifications, did yell at me the entire time until I get my head out of my butt. But he really did help me with what I knew during that day. So thank you.
So I think that as she was performing the life-saving CPR on her sister, she was probably listening to Mr. Ritter yelling in the back of her head at the same time. So I think it's a tribute to our instructors and every one of our programs, and something that a freshman, young lady, will take for the rest of her life, that certification, and put it to good use. So we just wanted to recognize her, and it's a great honor for the school and for you. Thank you very much.
Zeitler? Did I butcher that? Okay. Zeidler. Okay. John and Danielle.
We have nothing to say.
Okay. Thanks for being here. Denise and Tom Jones.
Our concerns were already mentioned. However, my daughter is in the landscape program. Maybe wants to say something. Yes, I would.
Sure, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paige, and as previously mentioned, I am in the landscaping constructing classroom. I'm sorry.
Don't be nervous.
But anyway, this classroom has helped me in many more ways than I can possibly imagine. I have had trouble learning in the past. I have trouble trusting teachers because I have had horrible teachers in the past. But this year and last year was the most amazing experience I could have ever had in my entire life at a school. Before, I absolutely hated school, but now I can't wait to come back to tech school and learn more. And I totally agree with Miss Overton. I do agree that the numbers are low, but they are also low for the new enrollment of this new upcoming class, as far as I understand. So, if you ask me, it's a bad idea. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think it's a bad idea to have this new class come in on such unstable grounds, because I know you guys are trying to stick with the times. I know you guys are trying to get more students here, but I believe that the landscaping class needs another chance. And I believe that if we do get another chance with Mr. Kunkel, who has only been back here for a year, but he has taught us so much that I believe we really do deserve a second chance to prove ourselves, that we can do almost anything that you guys possibly think of. I really do believe that we can make a difference. Thank you very much.
I left them with my husband tonight with dinner on the table, hopefully tonight.
No, I just came tonight because I wanted to just voice an opinion and then also speak for Sandy Hendricks, who Amy is in the landscaping program here, and they weren't able to come tonight, so I wanted to make sure that their voice was heard. I know a letter was sent out, and I just want to, I'm not sure, we didn't get a response from it, so I just wanted to make sure that we heard it, but I'm just going to read it out because these are Sandy's words, and then if I have anything to say at the end, I will. All right, so it says, dear ladies and gentlemen, once again, I thank you for your time and energy. Some of my words will be a repeat, but I ask that you please take the time to read my letter to the end, or in this case, listen to it. As most of you know, my original intent when I attended the meeting in May, when I attended the May JOC meeting, was to voice my concerns regarding the landscape construction and plant technology program possibly being curtailed, as well as my disappointment in the changing of the agenda for the April meeting. I continue to have those concerns, but my concerns deepened by what I saw at that May meeting. I saw dysfunction among the staff and administration. When I saw the large amount of disgruntled staff on various levels, I could not help but question the stability of the school. When Tracy Hill, an employee valued by the staff, students, and parents, tearfully resigned, I became even more concerned. Tracy is someone who has dedicated her life to children. I cannot help but question why things ended this way. I ask that you question that too. I ask that you help me, as a parent, regain my confidence that I once had in school. I realize that there will always be turmoil in such an environment, and I also realize that there is always two sides to every story. I simply ask that you hear both sides so that things can begin to move in the right direction for the Upper Bucks County Technical School. While it is important to speak to the administration at UBCTS, it is also important to speak to those who work directly with the students, such as teachers and the guidance counselors, as well as all of those who are making sure our school runs smoothly each day, like secretaries, nurses, custodian staff, and cafeteria staff as well. I attended the third parent informational night, as well as the first two regarding the proposed new program of agricultural biotechnology and the life sciences. Dr. Herrera once again presented a wealth of information. It is clear that the administration views this program as far more rigorous and attractive to the college-bound students than the landscaping, construction, and plant technology program. In fact, Dr. Herrera shared some very rigorous tasks taken from the task list for the new program and shared of the college credits a student could obtain. He also shared potential new students who had already had some college credits and is excited to add to that. When Dr. Herrera spoke of the task of the landscape, construction, and plant technology program, he shared filling up helium balloons and picking weeds. While they are on the list, just as putting on a Band-Aid is on the list for nursing, I find it to be incredibly disappointing and seemingly degrading to the current LCBT students and the program, especially when there are tasks such as demonstrating knowledge of federal and state pesticides laws, including the effects of chemicals and pesticides on the environment, and to conduct soil samples to test for pH textures, macronutrients, and soluble salts. One of the things I most appreciate about the LCBT program is that it accommodates students of all levels of ability and learning. It accommodates students who may be at the level of blowing up helium balloons, something many of us pay for when we go to our having celebrations, or picking weeds, a mundane task yet difficult enough for many people who are willing to pay someone else to do it for them. It accommodates the students, like my daughter, who would like to be a floral designer and attend a trade school after leaving UBCTS. It also accommodates the students who wants to be a landscape architect and attend a four-year college or university. I do not disagree that it is important for us to raise the bar and encourage students to further their education post-high school, but I also believe it's very important to teach students that it is okay to want to go right into the workforce, and that it is okay to learn a trade at UBCTS and to utilize it for the best of their ability. I know many success stories of those who chose not to attend a college or a university. Those I am speaking of have been very successful supporting themselves, their families, and beyond, and many of them receiving salaries greater than those who may have obtained a master's or a doctorate degree. And I will also say that 90K thing there that you mentioned with that is absolutely amazing, and everybody needs a plumber that's in this room, unless your husband needs it. That wasn't Sandy, that was me. I ask that you not lose sight of what the UBCTS is and how it has helped students who like hands-on work, students who may not seem as academically gifted as those who are looking to go to Rutgers, Penn State, or Delaware Valley University, but are gifted, intelligent, hardworking, and will be successful as long as we don't discourage them or overwhelm them with thinking otherwise. Well, Mr. Suida used terms at the first informational meeting like pushing a broom, stating that we now have robots to do that type of thing. It said that the new program will not just be plopping some dirt into a pot and sticking a seed or planting in it. I wonder if he truly appreciates the abilities of the students of the LCPT program. When Dr. Herrera focuses on blowing up a helium balloon or picking weeds, I wonder if he fully understands what the students of the LCPT program are capable of. Dr. Herrera stated in an email to me that the administration would continue to promote the LCPT program with statements like the above. It is very difficult for me to see any promotion or support. Sincerely, thank you.
Thank you for sharing Sandy's words. I know she couldn't be here this evening. So now that I have Karen Freed.
I would like to defer my comments to the end.
I wonder if that's why maybe they were at the bottom. And Mary Ann Gibbs.
Okay, sure. Thank you. At this time, anybody else has any public comment that didn't sign up? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Laura Campbell, and my son Dan was in landscaping. And I did send an email just because there's been confusion about what the facts are. So it was very helpful also to understand the background. Before I start, I just want to mention, I appreciate that you took the feedback and we're in a larger room and not the clock. So I really appreciate you listening. And also, I had shared with someone the fact that this meeting is later means that you're really considering whether the program should be closed or not. And for that, I appreciate that you're taking that time. One of the things when I saw that slide about the number where the landscaping people are going, I'm not sure that's 100% accurate. So for example, and this is why I think that there's some friction. When you look at the number of people, 5 students going back to their home schools, that's because they're not, like my son is not going, will come here, and Amy, I just spoke to her mom, she won't be sending. So it's not that they're choosing to stay back, it's because the program is closing. So that students that learn through experiential learning, are going back to the home school. So, and I think one of my feedback to you is there seems like there's a problem around recruiting for programs. So for plumbing and landscaping, you can get a job right now with students, or later they're on Facebook, you can see people requesting those kind of skill sets. And I just would offer to you, it seems like the school in general could use a benefit. And maybe what you do is, for the Pennridge team, there's marketing and business classes, get the students to work on a plan for you. There's college interns, because I think for plumbing, it's really unheard of that you would cancel a program like that. So just, some feedback. I think there's different ways you can resource recruiting. When I looked at it, it said the action plan around landscaping. That seemed to me it was just a history. It wasn't really an action plan. And I don't know what happens behind the scenes. But when I look at the recruiting for the new program, it's significantly different than for the plumbing program as well as the landscaping. So my only suggestion would be, if you are going to cancel the program, those programs, you may consider to do a transitional year so that the students at least get 2 years under their belt. A lot of us didn't know that the program was being under review, so we may not have chosen to come here even for this year, and just fairness to them. Also, a lot of these kids have anxiety, so they'll leave the school year and not know whether the program is not, it's just a lesson learned. But I really do appreciate you being open to the feedback.
Thank you.
My son Tyler was freshman in the program this year, and I just want to reiterate some of the things that were said by other people that came up and were mentioned in the letter. When my son was recruited for the tech school, we sat behind the desk at Strayer Middle School, and my son has an IEP. He has autism, he has ID, and he has ADHD. And I sat across from a table with people in the administration of the tech school and the regular middle school, going through all the scenarios of the programs here, being told what was and was not appropriate for my son because of his needs. And remembering that and how I felt, everybody kept saying, you have to remember tech school isn't what you remember it to be when I was in school, which was a very long time ago. It wasn't to take the best students necessarily then. There was a way to get rid of some of the worst elements of school when I went to school. If I had known that this program was potentially going to go away, I don't know that my son would have come. And my son has been a wreck since he heard that this is going to happen. Doesn't know that he wants to come back. Everybody has a different skill set, as was said, and not everybody is a college-bound student. But with a landscaping background, you can get a better paying job than what I have been doing for 27 years with an associate's degree in veterinary technology. I can't make anywhere near the plumbing salary and would never be able to. And my son doesn't want anything to do with animals. We were here when they talked about combining the programs because you have such high enrollment, that you can't let all the students in for the animal program. doing what I do for a living, I'd want to scream for those children to go find another career, because if you want to become a veterinary technician, it's rough, and it doesn't pay well. And in 7 years, you'll be so hurt that you won't be able to do your job anymore. Mr. Kunkel went out of his way when my son asked him to come see him at a bowling tournament for the high school, because he bowls for the high school, and he went out of his way, and he showed up. And that kind of teacher is something that those children need. And I've heard it from more than one student, that they love this man. And if everything else I've heard tonight about the way this has been conducted, and he hasn't been given a fair chance of getting this program's enrollment up, then you guys, that's unfair. And he needs to be given the right to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bullock. Any other public comment? Yes, sir. Just state your name and municipality for us.
Go up there? Yeah. Okay. Adam Hendricks, Palisades.
Amy's brother.
Yes. I wasn't going to speak, but I would like to say, my brothers and I, we own Hendricks Brothers Property Maintenance. We're in the landscaping. And if the enrollment's an issue, that's an issue. But there is definitely a need for this in the industry. The industry standards, I forget how it's working, but I can't find employees. There's no shortage of that. I know plenty of other landscape companies. Everyone's in the same boat. We're turning down work because we can't handle the work. I could probably hire double the employees I had, double if it were there. I mean, I know all you guys want. Some of you guys just volunteer, but elected, unpaid. I think you're doing a great job, but I think it'd be a shame to end this. Mr. Kunkel is doing a great job. Honestly, if you did adult programs, I would take the course. I think you could learn from that. That's a really great course. It'd be a shame to end it. Also, the agricultural, biotechnology, and life sciences, is that really something that can be used? I don't even know what that means. Like, if we're ending something that can be used, I would feel a little better about it if it was something that was more applicable. It doesn't seem like, you have to go to college for that. Landscaping is something you can come right out of and do. As well as the plumbing, that's something too. I can't tell you how many people have helped wanted signs out. Cooper Mechanical, big plumbing company, we work for them. 4 or 5 years now, they have not taken their help wanted sign down at all. Now, if that's something that can get pushed into the HVAC, then that makes sense, but otherwise, we're putting stuff like this up and replacing good programs that are in need. That doesn't make sense to me, so I guess that's it.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone's time being here and voicing your opinions. We are going to move into administrative reports.
Thank you. I don't think I need this, but I'll use it anyway. So first off, we always start with some great news. We have a lot of great stuff going on here at Upper Bucks County Technical School. I'd like to recognize my FFA team. If you'd please stand and walk over to the podium. USA team placed first as a team in the veterinarian science qualifying for the Nationals in Indianapolis in October. They beat Miss Danka's old school and repeat champs Chester County Technical Career High School. In addition, the team had great individual placements. So first was Casey Rottenberg placed first as an individual and earning $100 for the qualification. Isabella Urban placed third as an individual. Estevie Hernandez and Nina Stilfer both placed competitively in the top 10 as individuals. We are so excited. We're so excited to be national bound in October. What a whirlwind. I'm going to have our instructor give a few words because she was there. She didn't think she was winning. She was just going to go there and enjoy the sights. But our 4 young ladies came back with a state championship, which qualified them to go to nationals, and it's a very exciting time. And Ms. Dank also had the grand champion a couple of months ago at the Harrisburg Farm Show. So we're doing a lot of cool things up in the animal tech veterinarian program. Good to go.
Thank you. I was not totally prepared. But in case you don't know FFA, we participate in CDEs, which are called Career Development Events. It's the same thing as Skills USA that you're familiar with, only it's agriculture based. So everything is either animals, plants, tractors, things like that. These 4 girls came to me earlier in the year with the interest of going to states to better the program because they wanted to give it a shot, be the guinea pigs, see how this was going to go, having no intentions on winning. We thought we would go, we'd be middle of the road, we would learn, we would bring it back, and we'd do better next year. Tuesday after it wrapped, they told me that Casey tied for first place, and I was like, get out. No, she didn't. Okay. They then told me that she won, and then they told me that the team won, and I was like, no, that's not even real. Okay. And then they told me we were going to Indy for nationals, and I was like, oh gosh, this isn't what I signed up for, but okay. So it was a whirlwind of 3 days. These girls represented the school really well, and we are very proud of their success this year.
You're setting the bar high for next year.
Yeah, now, that's the way it works. First this year, first next year, just have to keep going. That's awesome. Congratulations again. Thank you very much. So recently we had our award ceremony. We recognized 259 students. And last 2 weeks ago we had our senior celebration and we recognized 163 seniors at Pennridge High School. That was a great event. Our law enforcement student that we spoke with earlier, she did she's a lifesaver. She learned what she's been taught in the classroom. The law enforcement class is a phenomenal class, and it's something that she's going to remember, like I mentioned earlier, for the rest of her life, and use that for the rest of her life. Our summer camp starts June 24th, which is Monday. We have about 90 individuals signed up for both sessions. We have our elementary in the morning and middle school in the afternoon. So that's going very well. And we had 5 students receive awards for the Elmer Gates Award, the Skills USA Elmer Gates Award, which is pretty phenomenal. And this leads us to a part of the program that, I started back in July of last year. I worked with an individual, I worked with my instructors for almost a year now. Actually 11 months, 2 weeks, and I got to know all of my instructors, and one in particular, we're going to recognize Mr. Joe Yerkes. If you'd please stand. So Mr. Yerkes is our diesel instructor for a long time. He doesn't want me to mention how long, because then it'll show his age. And I just heard recently that he's well sought after. Everybody knows that he's retiring. He's retiring at yesterday, and he had 8 job offers already for part-time work. And his wife, I understand, is trying to push him back out to get back to work. But we would just want to thank you for all of your service here at Upper Bucks County Technical School, and just want to present you with this clock to remember us. You don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You don't have to set the alarm. You can just turn this upside down. Congratulations. And our president, Ms. Katie Dolan, brought in a cake, so you can go over and be the first to cut the cake and share with whoever you want. If you want to share with the audience, you can. If you want to take it home, you can do that as well. But congratulations. Thank you.
My natural alarm clock is 6 o'clock, so I don't think it's going to matter. But it's been a great run here. Jim Diamond asked me to start teaching the ag program in 1979, and I said there was no way I ever want to deal with teenagers. And 12 years later, here I am. Actually, that's 26 years after that, and I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed working with everybody here. I said just about everything in the email that I sent out today, but I thank you for this. It's been great. Thank you very much.
The cake looks good over there. It's not ice cream.
Please help yourself.
Dr. Harner, like a corner piece, please. Okay, next, another individual that is retiring the end of July. This individual, when I came in here, we walked around the school and I started looking at, everything that I thought needed to be done, and Joe's like, well, yeah, okay, we'll get that, we'll do that. So I made a big, long laundry list, and it's bigger than he has at home. But, I'd like to recognize Joe Murphy. Please come up. Again, Mr. Murphy spent countless hours and days here at the school. Middle of the night when the alarms go on, they call Mr. Murphy, he has to come. Anything that goes wrong, they call on Mr. Murphy and his team to get here and make the school the way it is. We went through a $23 million renovation a few years ago, and Mr. Murphy used to have black hair, and that's what happened after our renovation. So it was a great, huge task for Mr. Murphy, but he did a fabulous job. And again, we want to thank you for all of your service, and we wish you well and luck in your fishing endeavors down in Cape May. And there's a thank you.
Well, thank you very much. When we started the renovations, I told everybody, I was probably one of the few people who realized what was going to happen. I said there's 2 good days, the day it starts and the day it ends, and the day it ends is much better than the day it starts. I know it was a rough time for everybody, and we all persevered through it. I think I got a few dings and dents for it, but it was part of the job, and I only hope that I found the place. I leave the place better than I found it, and I know everything goes on. And Upper Bucks was here long before me. It's going to be here long after me. I think it's a great institution, fulfilling a great need. So thank you.
And one more, we have a donation report. We have Miller Electric and Scully Welding Supply that donated a welding helmet, which was awarded to one of our welding students back at the senior awards. And Aaron Baum Precision Machining, donated a 80-20 extension rail, aluminum plate, estimated value about $395 to our mechatronics program. So, you know, our teachers are out there marketing the program, bringing in you know, supplies. A lot of this is an industry that we are currently, you know, sought after, going after. Want to come in and help our students. They donate materials for our students to use, which is a great thing. So those are our donations for this month. And that will and I have another, we recognize Marion Fazikas, cafeteria worker, last week. I don't believe she's here. Is she here? We recognize Marion. She is retiring as of, I guess, last week. She was in our cafeteria for 26 years, which is awesome. She was a great asset to the cafeteria. We have you know, a great staff in the cafeteria, and I hope we can find a good replacement to come in and pick up where Marion left off. And I'd also like to recognize the retirement of Gail Capuano. She has put in her letter to retire, and you know, we wish her well and the best in her future endeavors. Thank you very much.
If anybody wants cake, please have it, please. Anybody.
Please help yourself.
Please help yourself to cake. Thank you. Okay. All right.
Where are we now?
So. Item number 7 on our agenda this evening is going to be committee reports. No committees met this evening prior to our meeting. With that, that is going to bring us to item number 8, landscape construction and plant technology program. I have a motion, and it's on your agenda. Whereas the landscaping program is chronically under-enrolled in accordance with Policy 118, whereas the director and the superintendent of record, as a means to create a more effective educational program and to conform with standards of organization required by law, recommend the closing of the current program. Whereas required by Section 1124 of the School Code, the director and superintendent of record seek concurrence by the Joint Operating Committee for this reorganization. Now, therefore, Be it resolved that the JOC hereby concurs in the recommendation of the superintendent of record and the director, authorizes the closing of the current landscaping program effective June 21st, 2019, and directs the director to take action as appropriate to implement this alteration, including notifying the Department of Education and notifying any employees affected by the closing of the program of their suspension and their right under section 1125.1 of the school code. I can make that in a form of a motion. Seconded by Mr. Hallowell. Comments and questions from board members? I got a second, thank you. Do I have comments and questions from board members?
I was just curious.
Do you want the mic?
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
Just one quick question I had that I asked Mike. Kind of gave me an answer, but I just want to be sure. Did the root cause analysis procedures exist prior to 2012? Does anybody here know that? Okay. Nobody knows.
Yes. I have a copy here, and they were adopted December 20th, 2007, and revised June 21st, 2012. Root cause analysis has been in existence since 2007.
Right.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Right. Any other comments or questions from board members? So I just wanted to say that I hope that everyone here knows that this is not a topic that we've taken lightly. We've discussed this, it's been occurring for a long time. I know if you followed the last meeting we had, I spoke my feelings, and I reached out to numerous different people who would have an opinion on the matter, from staff and teachers and students, and I had time to think about everything, and I talked to our administration, and I talked to everyone that I felt I needed answers from, and I got them, and I just wanted to make everyone aware of that, and this isn't something that we've taken lightly. It's been very looked at, and we put students through the program and they didn't have a third choice to take a look at it. It was maybe upwards of 83 students who don't quote me on that number. But coming back to your point about not being able to find help, I think anyone who owns a business is in your same predicament. And I think that maybe that's very relatable to this program. We just can't find the people who want to do the job. And, but I asked all the questions I felt I needed to answer, and that's why I am okay moving forward with this today. And I just wanted everyone to know that I truly did ask all the questions and got all the answers I needed. With that, if there's no other comments and questions from board members, we can put this up for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay. A motion carries unanimously. So our next item on the agenda is item number 9, plumbing technology program. Whereas the plumbing program is chronically under-enrolled in accordance with the terms of policy 118, and whereas the director and the superintendent of record, as a means to create a more effective educational program and to conform with standards of organization required by law, recommend the closure of the current program, and whereas required by section 1124 of the school code, the director and superintendent of record seek concurrence by the JOC for this reorganization. Now therefore, be it resolved that the JOC hereby concur in the recommendation of the of the superintendent of the record of the director to close the plumbing program, authorizes the closing of the current plumbing program effective June 21st, 2019, and directs the director to take action as appropriate to implement this alteration of the program, including notifying the Department of Education and notifying any employees affected by the closing of the plumbing program of their suspension and of their rights under the section 1125.1 of the school code. And I can make that in the form of a motion. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Gilberry. Any comments or questions from board members? Seeing none, I know it's our hope that we are going to have a dual certified instructor, and I know that I've raised my own personal concerns that is absolutely implemented, and that is why I got confirmation from our executive director that it will happen. If they are not already certified in plumbing, they will be certified at the end of the year. So with that, I am comfortable voting for that, as long as we do have a certified plumbing instructor by the end of the one-year grace period. Any other comments or questions from board members? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. This brings us to number 10. Thank you for coming this evening. Our consent calendar, May meeting minutes, May 28th special JOC meeting, May financial reports, June bills payable, and personnel recommendations. I can make those in the form of a motion, letters A through E. Okay. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Santry, thank you. Do I have any comments or questions from board members regarding this? Sure, Jeff.
The slip grant we received through the workforce development, and that slip grant is going to help pay for our student workers and our pardon?
Some of the teachers.
Yes. They'll be working on the food truck. Some of them will be working at the camp. So we have a lot of funding that we're paying our teachers through the grant, so it's not going to cost the upper bucks anything.
Any other comments or questions from board members? With that, and this, we will be approving the retirements. And once again, I just want to thank everybody who is retiring. We thank you for your service, and you will be greatly missed. And also on here is the, just for transparency, in this motion is the director's goal to be approved. The JOC acknowledges the 100% successful completion of the executive director's goals for the 2018-2019 according to the executive director amended contract. So that is on there. And then the new hire, the diesel technology instructor, the new hire, the agricultural biotechnology teacher. And, okay. So I just want to give clarity for anybody who doesn't have those items. Those are in this. Sure. So with that, I made that in the form of a motion. It was seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries 8-0. Anyone who says a few words about that? Sure.
Okay, we've been very busy here. We have 7 openings in our organization. I've been working around the clock, it seems like, and we came up with, we had interviews for our agriculture bioscience instructor as well as our diesel instructor, 2 fabulous instructors. So first I'd like to give a little bit of a bio. These individuals will be back here in July as a group to meet and greet the public as well. Mr. Dietrich has 2 degrees in food science and agriculture education from Penn State University and is already certified in 2 case courses, Introduction to Agriculture, Food and Natural Resources, and Agricultural Power and Technology, of which he obtained through a scholarship. If approved, he will be attending the Case Animal Science Institute sponsored by Penn State University next week. Mr. Dietrich brings a wealth of information to our new diverse career pathways such as managing dissection experiments in animal science, instruct students to manage a greenhouse and hydroponic grow room, a plant science, develop students as leaders in FFA, show kids how business and global issues impact agriculture and agribusiness and international agriculture, and show eighth graders how cool agriculture is in the exploration of agriculture. He served as an advisor, coach, and mentor of the FFA chapter, which includes troubleshooting, SAS, SAE, records, and coaching CDE and LDE contest competitors. So it looks like Ms. Bank will have a nice partner to enhance the FFA competitions. Our next person, Greg Masters. Mr. Masters has been in the diesel industry for more than 20 years. He started out as at the bottom of an attendant who fueled and washed trucks and worked his way up through the ranks, eventually becoming a lead engineer technician as well as electrical diagnostic technician. For the past 10 years, he's been on the management side, scheduling, handling workflow, training, troubleshooting, assisting in different repairs. Through his experience, he's been in all of the positions possible in this industry, which gives me the credibility and experience, necessary to educate proficiently. He finds it very rewarding to train and help troubleshoot problems with technicians. With technology changing at a fast rate, it's important to have a teacher who is current with new diesel engine and truck development. His experience working at the international truck dealer makes him a perfect candidate. He is currently trained and certified in International on all of their engines, as well as the software used to diagnose them. So this person is very well versed. He also has associate's degree plus 30 credits working towards his bachelor's degree. So this individual is well trained to take over. Mr. Yerkes did sit in on the interviews with us, spent some time with the individual down in his program, and gave me his thumbs up. So I take that from with Mr. Yerkes giving me that go ahead. I really feel confident with that. And one other letter that we received just recently from Penn State University, the co-curricular program manager of the PA Case affiliate professor. Now Penn State realized it's a big, great university. They give people nothing, but they're reaching out to us. So they sent us a letter. It says, greetings, Board of Directors. Please find this letter of endorsement as my recommendation for the hire of Mr. George Dietrich as your school-based agri-science educator to lead your newly transitioned program. I have been a part of the discussions regarding the direction your program is headed, and after making and speaking with key stakeholders of your program, I am confident that the transition to agri-science biotechnology will benefit your students, local industry, and community. It is my understanding that your program will adopt the CASE curricula to provide your students with a rich, inquiry-based approach to learning principles of agri-science. Mr. Dietrich has completed numerous CASE Institute trainings already and is strongly encourage Upper Bucks County Technical School to support Mr. Dietrich's participation in the CASE ASA Fast Track Institute. We are hosting at Cumberland Valley High School June 23rd through the 28th. This curriculum will most definitely aid the success of your new agri-science program as a Pennsylvania case coordinator and PSU Institute host representative, I am willing to assist in facilitating Mr. Dietrich's participation in our case ASA Institute. However, I am able. Again, I would like to reiterate my support for the Upper Bucks County Technical Schools' decision to transition the program towards agricultural biotechnology using case curricula as a curricular framework for the program. I can think of nobody better suited to utilize CASE to lead your program forward other than Mr. Dietrich. I also commend the leadership and work of Mr. Herrera in leading and envisioning this transition. If you have any additional questions, concerns that I may be of assistance with, please feel free to reach out to me by phone. I look forward to working with and seeing progress in this program moving forward. We are here to support Mr. Dietrich and your school in any way we can. Signed, Jonathan T. Seaman, Co-Curricular Program Manager, PA Case Affiliate Professor up at Penn State University.
Thank you for sharing that with us tonight, Jeff. Sorry. Okay, with that, we can move on to item number 11, and that is the agreement for interim business services. A motion to authorize the executive director to negotiate interim business office services with the Bucks County IU pending review of the solicitor. So this item was not on the agenda originally, and so I will open it up to public comment only on this agenda item. If anyone has any comments on this agenda item, I would ask you to please make a public comment also. Seeing none? Okay.
Explain to us, like what this means, interim business services, what this means?
Because of the short time frame for Ms. Catalano's retirement, there are obviously some immediate day-to-day business office functions that have to take place, without delay. So while posting and all that stuff takes place, those services need to be filled. The idea is the IU has agreed to contract to do those services on a short-term basis until the position is filled.
Just to assure everybody about that, the 3 business managers from the ascending districts will be involved in making and supporting what's going on here, as they were intimately involved in budget development this past year.
Does that answer your question?
Okay, so it's a pending review from the solicitor.
We don't actually have a contract from the IU because there was no time to get one. This all happened in the last 24 hours. So obviously the solicitor will look at the contract and make sure it's in the JOC's best interest. That's all that means.
Yes, ma'am.
Asking for Paula Wiley, her job is still intact, in no way affects her job, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Any other public comment? Better? Better? Okay. Okay, if I am seeing any other public comment on this agenda item, I will make that, I'll read it one more time. We have an agreement for interim business services. Motion to authorize the executive director to negotiate interim business office services with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit number 22, pending review from the solicitor. And I'll make that in the form of a motion. Do I have a second? Ms. Kildare, seconded. Melanie, comments or questions from board members? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Thank you. All right, with that, we are going to go on to number 12, payment of bills. A motion to authorize the administration to pay bills over the month of July and August and to be ratified at the August JOC meeting. We do not meet in the month of July usually, and this is something that we do every year. So I can make that in the form of a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Masantri, seconded. Any comments or questions from board members?
Joe, when you start writing down.
Any comments or questions from board members? It's something we do every year. With that, seeing no comments, All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. So we have a, item number 13 is going to be a NATEF. And I butchered that acronym, how you say it? N-A-T-E-F? NATEF. Consultant, we have a motion to approve Mr. Joseph Yergis to serve as a consultant for our NATEF recertification at a rate of $40 an hour, not to exceed 40 hours. So you're really not leaving us. For now. Okay.
I want to make sure everything's right.
Thank you, we appreciate it. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll let you start.
I'm gonna get one in.
Thank you. With a second, do I have any comments or questions from board members? We really appreciate you helping us and making sure everything's right with that. Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. All right, number 14, we have substitute student and other rates. Motion to approve the rates for substitute student workers and other positions effectively starting July 1st, 2019. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Do I have a second? John?
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Seconded by Mr. Santry. Do I have any comments or questions from board members? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Thank you. 15, we have annual insurance policies. We have a motion to approve the annual insurance policies.
I'm an A on 10. I don't think I fumbled it on it. I allowed time for me, so on that last one, I was an A.
On the substitute student and other rates.
Yes.
So that motion is going to carry 7-1. My apologies. And I think you have that.
I don't believe there's any of these are living wages, which is my objection.
Thank you. All right, with that, we can go on to number 15. Annual insurance policies. A motion to approve the annual insurance policies. With that in the form of a motion, do I have a second? Thank you. Any comments or questions from board members? Any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. So item number 16 is a rescind of policy number 248, unlawful harassment. Motion to rescind policy 248, unlawful harassment, due to the information being merged with the revised policy 103 that ensures those responsible for addressing allegations of discrimination have one comprehensive non-discrimination policy for students with a consistent and effective approach to investigations and handling of both discriminatory and harassment and other kinds of discrimination claims. It is recommended by PSBA that 248 be rescinded in order to prevent redundancy or conflict of information. And I can make that in the form of a motion. Thank you. Any questions or comments from board members? And this comes straight from PSBA. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Brings us down to number 17, solicitor fees. A motion to approve Mr. Ellis Katz, Sweet Stevens, Katz, and Williams as solicitor for the 2019-2020 school year. For the 2019-20 fiscal year, the hourly rate for non-routine matters will remain at the $195 per hour for attorneys and $125 per hour for legal assistants. The rate for routine or general advice will remain at the $160 an hour for attorneys and $125 for legal assistants. The rates noted above become effective July 1st, 2019. Thank you.
Second.
All right, do I have any comments or questions from board members? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. student activity accounts. A motion to approve the continuation and or initiate student activity accounts for the following programs: animal technology, FFA, auto collision technology, automotive technology, baking and pastry arts, construction technology, carpentry, culinary arts, and quantity food production. Cosmetology, diesel equipment and technology, dental careers, HOSA, graphic communications, electrical technology, healthcare careers, landscape construction and plant technology, machining technologies, law enforcement, police science, mechatronics, National Technical Honor Society, plumbing technology, Skills USA, school-wide organization, small engine technology, welding and fabricating technology. I'll make that in form of a motion.
Given the board, the committee's action on numbers 7 and 8, I'm wondering if a committee member wants to make a motion to amend this and remove the two programs that are no longer on the list.
I would make that.
Oh, sorry, to remove both plumbing and technology from this list, prior program. Needs to be second. Want to second that motion?
Second. Okay, so with that, I have a motion and a second to amend that. Comments or questions from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh.
Motion carries 8-0. Now I have a motion and I need a second to carry over the student activity accounts into next year. Do I have a second?
23.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Comments or questions from board members? So this is something we
I
wrote
won't
here.
live through it.
It's so that their funds can be carried over for their activity accounts. So all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's been 37-0, so on the step down. So with that, we can move on to item number 19. No, I wanted to have it at a committee meeting. So here we are going to have this discussion now. This is good. Right, there was no private discussion, we're gonna have that discussion now. I requested to have a committee meeting, but, because it wasn't 24 hours in advance, we couldn't place that. So we will have that discussion now. We have gotten all of our information back from the RFPs. Interstate Premier Facility Provider and Airmark. Would anybody voice their opinion on?
So I think it was Megan, right? Megan, she suggested we table it. I think I tabled it. I suggested we motion to table it. We tabled this in advance of follow-up questions for Interstate, right?
Yes.
And you happen to be here.
Yes, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Did we have a list of questions that we sent?
You did.
Stay up there.
Yes.
Give them the microphone and they let them answer the question.
Sure, I'll be happy to.
Okay, yeah.
Mine. I only got.
I had a list of, I guess there's about 10 questions that were sent over.
Here you go.
I don't know if you guys would like to take a look at it.
Why don't you read them out?
So if there was anything specifically that you would discuss, go over, I'm happy to jump in on that. Are any of you familiar with the Apple levels? in schools, which is sort of like the level of cleanliness. Apple 1 being like hospital grade, Apple 5 being a gas station restroom. And I think that anywhere that we go, we've had tremendous success in being able to get everybody up to a level 2, which we would have to work at that. And I think that in the first 30 days, we could achieve that level of success here at your school. I think that you fit into another category with that right now. And my thoughts are, why spend the extra money? We were the lowest responsible bidder, and these are real meaningful savings. Over $85,000 in a 3-year period of time, and we can look for additional savings as you go. We have the most resources of any of the companies that were there. Like I said, we're close to 2,000 employees, and we're a locally based company that I started myself over 30 years ago. Some of the questions that were asked were, how many custodians would be staffed on a daily basis? It would be the equivalent of 3 full-time custodians that would be here at all times. I feel that the facility can be done just under the 3, but you need the additional time for supervision and to go through and check and make sure that everything's 100%. The productivity rate fits well within that. You could do that with probably 80 or 90,000 square feet, and your square footage numbers really show in that case. How do you screen your employees? 100% of the employees that we have are all interstate employees. We do not outsource for anything, and they're vetted through a full background investigation. We would be happy to consider anybody that's currently, at the location that's in good standings with, your school. And that's one of the things that we would certainly consider if they're able to go through our background and we're able to analyze that. What kind of training do your employees receive? Our corporate office is located within 30 minutes. We have a full facility that I put into the proposal, but we're one of the only companies in Pennsylvania that brings all the safety and training people together. We bring 35 of our managers together every single month for specific training. I don't know of any other company out there that does this and does this locally. So I hope that kind of answers that question. We have quality assurance representatives, and myself as the owner, we really we get that level of service and commitment that you're looking for. Are the cleaning equipment and solutions included in the proposal? Yes, they are included into the pricing. 24-hour contact, I'll furnish you with 5 names, including myself, because if you're going to have an emergency, it's not going to be 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. It's going to be 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday. And we're capable of being out here within 30 minutes. No one's got more resources to be able to cover that. How do you motivate and manage your team? Our company is driven by our culture more than anything else, and we believe that if you reward and you take care of your employees take care of your customers. I have 3 generations of families that have worked with me, and that's how we've grown over the years, because we get good, reliable people. You have to go out to recruit in order to get people. You're not going to get people from ads. I think that most of the people came up here and shared that, today. We have people that just go out and recruit. And in our view, the best people are the ones working, and you have to go out and take them from some of the other places and give them a rewarding opportunity. You have to be able to bring your people along. We have people that started out as cleaners, and they're making rather good livings now as supervisors and managers. So we have that culture, and it's very meaningful. No one seems to take the time to build that. You got to invest in your people. Will the cleaners continually maintain the facility? with Middle Bucks Tech, I don't think that we had any turnover in 8 years. So I think that that answers that question. Typically, in the cleaning business, there's almost like a 200% turnover rate, and we're experiencing less than 10. You know, hire well, not often, and that's what you have to do, but you have to pay people. You have to pay people a little bit more than you did 6 months ago, and that's the difference. You have to pay that extra $1 an hour, you're not going to see the turnover, you're going to have a high level of success. I answered the employee turnover, control checks, daily accountability schedules. You have to make your cleaners responsible for their areas. You have them take ownership. There's a starting point, there's an ending point, and then there's the things that you do as you go through that process. But you want to cross-train people so that they understand the positions. Floor care is extremely big to us. You have a lot of floor care here, and that's one of the things that we bring in the specialty people. We work with our distributors. That's why we're very successful, and I think that I can take you where I think you might be at like maybe a 3.5 year. I can get you to a 2 within like 30 days. And I think that that's a bold commitment, but I feel very strongly at the numbers that we put together. The accountability schedules, site inspections, we do a lot of different things with time and attendance, so that this way, no one can really be clocking out on their couch. We put a geo-fence around, and they have to be here on the premises, in addition to the site supervision. Green cleaning, we're one of the most advanced groups out there when it comes to all areas of green cleaning. We recognize the importance of it in educational facilities, and quite frankly, this is our specialty. They were the 10 questions that were asked. Can I answer any questions for you while I'm up here?
Was that geofence thing that you said? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, what happens is we go through ADP. So when somebody says that they have to clock in and clock out, and it has to be within, we can set our own parameters within 500 yards of the facility, so that this way they can't just come in and punch somebody's time clock. They have to be able to put their code in and do this, and it's set up where we can do it, mobilely based from here.
Use the GPS or Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and they just call in when they get here, and they call in when they're finished. So it enhances it. What happens is you get the true value of it. Instead of somebody marking down 8 hours, but they were really here for 6 hours, you're receiving that, and we are too. It works both ways. It provides a lot of additional value. It's a good question. Yes?
So if you get this job, does that mean, are you going to have to hire people to do this job, or is this?
No, like I said, we have close to 2,000 people, and I have more resources within 20, 30 minutes, because cleaners, they're going to want to live in the community within 20 or 30 minutes. They're not going to travel any further than that. Otherwise, they're not going to stay with the position. So we know that, we recognize that, even if you're paying them slightly more wages. So that's kind of important, but I don't see it that way. It's a good opportunity to be able to advance people along. So people that are working part-time might want to consider the full-time position. Yes?
Two questions. People that you bring in, they need all the connections that we require.
Full documentation for all the school. It has to be, and that's something that we'll, full disclosure, we'll show those prior to them coming into the facility. So you'll have a record of that.
Okay. And the other part of the question was, some question as to the equipment they could use that apparently wasn't part of your bid.
No, it was. For the equipment, and we use all new equipment, you got to give people the right tools to do the right job. And, we invest heavily into our people.
And all the equipment would be, that was my question, replaced as needed on an as-needed basis.
Absolutely. Yeah, we work with, Philip Rosenthal, Hilliard, all the groups that are in like Pasbella that you might be familiar with. We're a member of them, and we're able to provide the best equipment. You're making an investment in the facility. And as the owner of the company, I don't want to just be here for 3 years. I'd like to be here for the next 10 or 20 years. That's what you do. You facilitate a good, strong bond and relationship. We worked hard to try and to earn your business. We looked at things very carefully, and we feel like there's a tremendous value, and take advantage of those savings. Springford School District, we saved them over $1 million, and that was before we even started out with custodians and everything else. And we've grown considerably, with those guys over the last, let's say, 8 or 9, 10 years. And we just signed another 5-year contract with them. So that kind of says that we make a commitment to your community, and I think it's important you recognize that. We're not a big corporation that the dollars have to go back to the corporation. We can work at less value. So if I choose to work as the owner at 10% margins versus 25 that a lot of the other people do, then we can do that, but we can be very successful. I'd rather make a little bit less, but have your business year after year. And that's our philosophy, it's always been. It costs you money when you lose business.
I do not know who they're
Well, I didn't, you just invite them?
No, no one invited you today.
No.
No, you just decided to come because you live close.
Correct, yeah. I'm fairly local, and that's why.
He did say that when he came in, he said,
I heard you. That's just,
Now, as the lowest responsible bidder, I thought it was important that I was here and show that, because if I'm going to invest, I want to know who I'm investing with. I don't want to just put something out. We work with many, many school districts, and we want to understand the culture and get involved from that standpoint. Your dollars that you're spending here are going to come right back. It's going to get reinvested into the building. And that's one of the things that we do uniquely different than many of the other companies.
Any other comments or questions from board members?
I kind of totally random, but I think the timing of this is kind of unique. Just today, we had a flash flood, and water came into the welding and the machining shop program. Would you be confident in saying that with your company that they would assist the way, like in our current provider, they assisted with cleaning up, like that there wouldn't be any kind of issue with?
Absolutely. It's very, very important. We work with, a lot of the people that are in the community, like Grandview Hospital. We take care of a lot of their stuff. You clean hospitals, you can clean schools and educational facilities. Drager Medical. I just got a call from Drager Medical, which isn't too far from you guys, and they're asking us to come in and do some things right away. So we have the resources here, and I'm going to give you my personal cell and 5 others, so that you can call somebody. We answer our phone 24/7.
Well, I guess there's not going to be any issue of, what I'm getting at is like, that's outside of our scope of work or something.
You're not going to get that, because we have the equipment, we have the flood pumpers, we have the things that are needed that we can just put in the truck and run it right over here. So it really is, it's one of the reasons that people tend to use us, and they go through that problem. We do if you have an epidemic of sickness, we'll come in and we'll fog the school. These are things that we get calls for all the time. Baldwin School had a fire, and he had to have that cafeteria up and running for the next morning. Called us, we were there all night. The inspector came out, 9 o'clock in the morning, opened up the cafeteria so that everybody could have their lunches. That's the type of service that we provide, and that's what's going to keep us here for the next decade. It's an investment in what we do. And I thought it was that important that I wanted to come to share that with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Hallowell, and some other people that brought up the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
People keep bringing up the equipment. What equipment are we talking about? Like, that you would provide? Are we talking about like floor cleaners, or?
Yeah, all the floor care equipment. During the summer programs, you have less time. What we do is we'll bring in these boost machines, which can really strip and wax a floor within, a third of the time, or even less. So these are things that we make an investment to get the program done, and especially this year, because it's going to be a little less time. Summer used to be 10, 12 weeks, it's now 6 weeks. And when we're doing this program, we'd have 8 weeks possibly, we'd get it done in 6 weeks. The other things that we do is we look to maybe come in 4 days and work 4 10-hour days so that you can shut the air conditioning down in the summer for the weekend, which is a cost savings. These are things that we try and do to go through this process to be able to save you money. And a lot of the educational facilities really like the fact that you're going to work 4 days and be able to shut that down on the 5th, especially in the summer.
That's what we do.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes. I do not want to sway anybody's decision. And secondly, I will be. So.
Most importantly.
Huh?
Most importantly from your point of view.
That's what I'm saying. So, I understand what the gentleman is saying. A lot of the things that he's saying, we already have those things in place. Okay. In the proposal, I know the proposal because I wrote the proposal. There are schedules of what has to be done, and it calls out how often, how frequently everything's supposed to be done. So that is the basis of the bid, okay? And then there's also a schedule of responsibilities. So I just want you to understand that what he's saying is what everybody has agreed to put in for the bid. So everybody has to supply their own equipment. That was part of the bid. Right? We said you have to supply any equipment, any cleaning supply. Just want you to know that when someone says we'll do this, we'll do that, yes, it's what's in the bid. Okay? We supply the consumables. That would be toilet paper, towels, hand soap, trash bag. That's probably the vast majority. Okay. So I just want to be clear that what you want to say, you understand what were some of the things that he's saying. Yeah, we're going to do them, but so the other contractors are going to live up to the bid.
Correct. 90% of the facilities are basically set up exactly the way that you had said. And we're all responsible for our equipment. Our equipment breaks down. We have to have additional equipment there, and we have to have it serviced, right away. Those things, do occasionally happen, but we have everything right here. We're able to run everything up rather quickly too. But I said that, we're investing in our equipment. The consumable supplies, probably go through a consortium for that. I feel like there's opportunities to be able to save you money there too, because we do buy probably $250,000 worth of toilet tissue and paper towels every month. Yeah, that's a lot of paper. So I think that, and we work with a couple different groups, so we do this and we're able to get the best pricing in the marketplace. So I kind of invite you to ask us to see if we can save you 10 or 15% there as well.
Stuff that we sent out, in order to be fair to all, right, bid, understand it was all answered already, so at this point in time.
Right, so we have an option that we can either make a motion today we can either make a motion today to accept one of the bids that we opened on Aramark Interstate, or Aramark has granted us a 3-month extension, and we want to, again, table this and bring it back to committee.
What I like to do, I'd like to make a motion to accept the bid for Duke State Maintenance Corporation at 137,736, the next 3 years, starting July 1 of 2019, ending whatever, June 30th, 2000, and whatever the 3 years is. I can't do that. I'll second it. So if it gets voted down, if it doesn't, we're moving on.
All right, prompt to register for board members on those who business decide to make. Seeing none?
What did you say, comments on it?
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say, we've been very happy with our mark, but the price of interstate is.
Is it asking to have been some kind of a new proposal from our part? I don't feel good voting for anything. I've read something about our part presenting something new. Is that true?
You have to reopen the RFP.
Huh?
You have to reopen the RFP, and what they put in is what they put in.
Right, and we.
No, there was something I read about.
A clarification of one of the, something that was originally submitted, that's all. There was no new information, it was just a clarification of what was submitted.
And all those 10 questions he answered were submitted to every one of our articles. So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments, questions, from board members? With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
So that's going to pass 7-0.
Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. We'll work very hard to earn your business each and every year. Thank you again. I appreciate your time.
Okay, with that, we are back to recognition and comments from the audience. And now the beginning public comment was.
I just want to recognize, I forgot an important aspect of our school in our director's report, sorry. But my school of work coordinator, Ms. Reese, has been working very hard this year. She's accomplished a tremendous amount of different activities for our students throughout the year. This year we had 73 students participate in the co-op education program. I believe that's probably one of the highest co-op students involved this year. 15 sending district students participated in a career internship program, which is another huge accomplishment. We are trying to push out or get our kids out there in a co-op. And if you're not familiar with co-op, our students, when they're at their senior year, they qualify to go out and work in industry. It's get paid to work and learn and accomplish all of your tasks out on the job. It's a great opportunity, and our students are taking part of that. She also put together many field trips and she business partnerships. Marilyn Reese is my girl. If I need to go to Maryland when I need to get these people involved with our school, Marilyn and I will go and bang down the door, and they're going to listen to us because Marilyn, demands that respect, and it's deserving. Communities and committee participation, it's just numerous. Grants and donations, she brought in a total of $2,250 this year through QNC Bank, and Chick-fil-A gave us $2,000 for our students. She goes to many IEP meetings throughout the districts, multiple placements. She has students everywhere in our communities, and a lot of our students have retained full-time employment right after graduation, which is phenomenal. I just wanted to recognize Marilyn for all of her hard work and continued support, and we're going to start again July 1, so we'll be at it again. So thank you again, Marilyn, and I appreciate all of your hard work.
Well,
other end, the teachers are the ones who are bringing all those students forth. And we have a fantastic business and industry support in this community for this school, and I want it to remain that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. McCoy. I can even add, whenever I see something, I'm like calling, like, Mrs. Reese, I saw this. This would be a great opportunity, and every time she is on the ball. She is one of the finest people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, with that, we can come back to public comment. Now, public comment at the beginning was about agenda items. Public comment at the end can be about any topic you'd like to discuss. And I'll start with Mr. Linden.
Thank you. I really appreciate the use of the microphone. I hope that with the money that you're saving on maintaining the building, that you'll buy everyone a microphone so that I can all sound as loud as Mr. Swia.
Can I say something? Addendum to that? When people do not speak on the microphone, I have no idea what they're saying. And I agree with him. So if I'm meeting this room, we need to get more microphones, or we pass that around for everyone. I don't want somebody over there saying something I just use with them. I apologize for being a certain age.
You're absolutely right.
I came here.
Absolutely, and I know I mentioned.
We're close to you.
I know I mentioned microphones in one of our previous meetings, so hopefully. Something else?
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Linden. I appreciate you being here this evening. I know that if you I know a few who signed up wanted to wait until the end. Should have marked it. I think the first one on the list was Barbara Mandato, who would like to speak again.
Yes, I'd like to defer my comments to Brian Moser if he needs the time.
Should I go now or not?
Well, you are next.
Okay.
And you want to speak at the beginning and the end.
Well, we didn't know if you're doing the three-minute rule, and I'm glad you're not doing it anymore.
I'll stand right next to him.
So.
Do you want this?
Oh, you know, I'll stand right here.
No, you're good. I can hear you.
You can hear me.
We're trouble.
Okay, this will be pretty short, for me at least. First off, we lost Tracy Hill because we took a job and overloaded her. And that's why she quit. There's no question about it. We overloaded what her responsibilities, almost doubled her responsibilities. We had Gail Capuano. I can guarantee you she did not want to retire this year. She had no expectations of retiring, but we took the financial secretary and dumped that in her lap and overloaded her. I don't like the pattern of our women at this age that have been here for a long time, getting dumped on huge amounts of work, so they leave. I think it's a very risky thing to do. And if you think someone's not doing a good job, give them a bad review and fire them. But to just dump tons and tons of work, that financial secretary has been here as long as I've been here. All three positions have been here as long as 20 years. And we took the financial secretary's job and gave it to Gail and expected her to do two people's jobs. We took the CTE supervisor and gave a huge majority of it to Tracy Hill and expected her to do two people's jobs. You can only expect people to run away when you do that. And we lost two good employees. So I would hope you're going to be doing an exit interview. You said you were going to. I would hope that a school board member, or maybe one from each school, was on that exit interview so you don't get a filtered version of what happened here. So I think it's important that you guys hear from them what's going on at the school. So I really encourage you to please participate in an exit interview with Gail and Tracy. Okay. I do appreciate the changes in the public comment, getting rid of the time clock, allowing people to speak, having the chairs. And especially you added a couple agenda items and you allowed for public comment, which is awesome, is what you should be doing. And I appreciate those changes you made. And the only other thing I have a question, I'm not quite sure, maybe I'm wrong on this, but we approved the new HVAC program, I think it was 2-3 months ago, and we scheduled the plumbing program. And I think officially, I don't know if we still have the plumbing, because the HVAC program was approved for PD approval. So I know it's a technicality, but I think we need to keep the plumbing program, maybe not in its current form. So as long as we have it on paper that, because we were talking about keeping the plumbing program before, at least at halftime, or part of the HVAC program. So I know it's probably just a clerical thing, just to make sure that the paperwork's in, that we have both programs for the fall. That'd be my concern. And thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Moser. Okay, with that, John and Daniel. Karen Creech. No further comment. Thank you. Mary Ann Rios? We don't have to defer. You can just.
I'm Kimberly Pritchett, I'm one of the cosmetology teachers.
Pull the mic lower.
Yes, Moser and Yergis. Two questions. On item number 16, rescind policy 248. All right, Mr. Sweetheart. I'm confused about what was going on. Is 248 like something that we already had in place, or is policy 103 what we had? What was already in place here?
248 has been in place for many years. The SBA's model non-discrimination policy, or actually a model resident policy. 103 is a new policy. Various people observed with the SBA, and now they're sort of overlapping. So 103 is going to be the new policy, 248 is the old. You don't want them to overlap, because it just is confusion. Getting rid of 248.
Okay, the next part of that question then, on the website, the last minutes for the policy committee is February 15th, 2018. So when has our policy committee been meeting to review all this and make changes?
That particular recommendation was channeled directly from the SBA, because various districts had complained to them about the potential for confusion between us.
Okay, so it's nothing that we were doing that we're not aware. Okay, all right, that was my question about that. I was just like really confused about that. Now the next part is the new cleaning people. So all of us have our shops all closed up and ready to, Mr. Sweeta walked into my room today and went, oh, wow, because everything is up off the floor. The general rule is if it's not attached to the floor, it's picked up and put up so that everything can be clean. My hydraulic chairs, our hydraulic chairs, sorry, Bart, have to be moved in a specific way. Dental chairs can't be moved. Like there's certain pieces of equipment that have to be moved in a special manner, or how are they going to be trained? Today is June 20th and we're talking July 1st. How is all of that going to be implemented that our equipment doesn't get ruined over the summer? Because we've had hydraulic chairs ruined in the past whenever we switched cleaning companies. Like there's been different programs that have had equipment ruined. So what kind of transition so that we can be assured when we come back, our equipment's going to be up and running and ready for our students to use?
If Mr. Lower is going to stay until our meeting's over, I think that would be a great conversation we could have together.
Okay. And I know I'm not the only instructor, so I mean, it's something that, now we're all gone for the summer, so I don't know how all that's going to happen, but yeah, we can talk then.
As a plan.
Today.
I was going to say we could do an onboarding program if there's anybody that is around next week. I can schedule to have that taken care of.
So I just think, in interest of tax dollars and saving our equipment, it's a very viable question to.
Yeah, it's a great question, because we're going to do that anyhow, and I prefer to give a clear understanding as to what each area, which classrooms need specific things.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, I appreciate your comments. So those are everyone that had signed up with said that they wanted to speak at the end, I believe. Now, if anybody would like to make a public comment, I welcome you to. Going once, twice. Okay, I'll close public comment. And all right. Announcements.
Our next regularly scheduled JOC board meeting is August 15th at 7 p.m. in the JOC boardroom.
Comment to that. I have a comment to that. Since we have teacher hiring, it's very important hiring is made. I'd like to let you know that we need a special call meeting to hire the teacher so we have the right teacher.
We can't hear you. I'm sorry.
We need a special call meeting for hiring our next teacher. And we plan on doing it right before the 4th of July.
And that might not be the most opportune time. I think it's either in
And
the
so you-
second or the third.
So we need, we'll need at least 5,
I could use my military voice, no problem. We'll need at least 5 board members to attend. And that, so if you would look at your schedules, second, third, kind of pencil it in there as a maybe. Thank you.
Technically, I think we have the third. Perfect.
On what time?
The third.
What time? The third?
I would think, after dinner hours, 6:30, 7.
So we're suggesting July 3rd at 7 o'clock,
Yes.
which is the day before the holiday, 4th of July.
I'd like to try and suggest about having a board meeting where we have that
Subscribe to that.
and I would like to be board.
I didn't hear you this time.
Use the microphone.
Okay, all right, that's something we can discuss.
I don't think there's any reason we couldn't. There's no reason why we
Well,
shouldn't.
that's my question.
Right, well, we can't have a quorum of people in here. One more district, and that's in every district. It doesn't make a decision. Okay. How's the third? Is the third still good? Can we go back to that? Good? 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 Maybe? No? Maybe? Hopefully we can have a choice. I think Megan's on vacation now, so I don't think that she. Right, and Dave, right. So, tentatively the third. 7 p.m. Yep, I think that's best for after dinner time. Yeah, and also that'll go out on our website, like, look on our website, and get special stuff meeting. Perfect. Any other JOC announcements? What? Okay. Any other announcements? Okay. Joint operating committee concerns? So that brings us to adjournment.
So moved.
And do I have a